Thanks for joining us today.
Hey everyone.
We're glad to be back after a bit of a break.
Yeah, Nicole was traveling to see her parents, and then we were going to be back last week, but we had a funeral for a family friend last Friday. So we were unable to live stream, obviously, because of that. But we're back today. Hard to believe that it's mid-October, actually past mid-October, and that Halloween is, gosh, week and a half, 2 weeks away. That is crazy.
Yeah, and we've all been through, we know some of you live in Florida and other parts of the country that were hit by the hurricanes. We're glad that you're okay, and just hoping for an uneventful winter, I guess.
Yeah, my mom and her husband made it out okay. They lost TV and internet for a day or two, but other than that, they were fine. They live on the good side of town, as they say, relative to tornadic activity and or hurricane activity, sorry.
Although this one did spawn some tornadoes too, which is terrible.
Yeah, hopefully everyone made it out okay and not too much damage.
Yeah, for sure.
And typically I mention deals at the beginning. We're going to be doing that a little bit later because that's something that we're going to be discussing a little bit more in detail later on in the live stream, so stick around for that.
Yeah, stick around for some deals. That's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our first story, which is about the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. I know not all regulation is good, but in this case, I think this one might be for us as consumers. FTC updated its rules, specifically the click to cancel rule, and that is supposed to be simplifying the cancellation process, making it easier. So I know if any of you have had a Hulu subscription, this is something I've noticed a lot with Hulu in particular, though they're not the only ones to do it.
They all do it.
Yeah, they all do it, but they stand out in my mind as, why are you canceling? So you click to cancel. Why are you canceling? Pick one of these 8 reasons. You pick a reason. Can we get you to stay by offering you this deal? And then you go through like 10 screens by the time you're finally able to cancel. Well, this rule is going to try to make it a lot easier for us to do that. It takes effect in 180 days. And it's what I think could be great is it's supposed to be a one-step cancellation.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, so we'll see if that happens. But companies now have to offer us the ability to cancel our subscriptions. Also, this is important through the same method that we signed up for them in, without additional steps. So if you subscribed online, you should be able to cancel online. If you subscribed through Verizon, you should be able to cancel through Verizon, etc. And Lena Khan had said in this article that I'm showing on screen.
She's the FTC chair.
Sorry, yeah, FTC chair Lena Khan said, too often businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. I think anyone who's been an AT&T customer can relate to that. The FTC's rule will end these tricks and traps, saving Americans time and money. No one should be stuck paying for a service they no longer want. So yeah, there's providers can't use lengthy surveys, promotions, or excessive offers to try to keep you anymore. And this, of course, this applies to streaming services, but it's broader than that. It applies to any subscription service with recurring payments. So gym memberships, meal delivery kits, more. So just making sure you all are aware of that across the board with anything you subscribe to, even if it's not streaming related. You should start seeing an easier cancellation process there. And also maybe some changes when we sign up, because companies have to provide clear and upfront notices before any automatic renewal can start, including change in price, terms of service, etc. So.
Yeah, and one other note, a couple of things that Nicole didn't mention is the companies can still offer promotions. Like for example, we've seen it with a handful of services. We go to cancel because our promo rate is up, and they'll say, hey, you can stay at the same rate for, whatever amount of time and keep it. They can still offer you promotions, but not until the cancellation process is over. So they could still do the same basic thing, but they're going to be forced to offer it to you after you cancel. And they're claiming that companies that violate this could face penalties, including fines. It remains to be seen if that will actually be the case, if it will actually have teeth. Hopefully for us as consumers, it will have some teeth and not just all bark. And yeah, I mean, I remember a DirecTV stream, until recently you had to actually call in to cancel, and just no need for that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and we've not personally dealt with Spectrum, Larry, but I can right there with you on Sirius and DirecTV. They can be quite troublesome. They like to throw in the hurdles.
And to your point, maybe that's really kind of what they're going at, is those services that are trying to force you to call in, or go into the office to cancel something. We've talked to people that sign up for the car wash subscriptions and have had a really, really hard time trying to cancel that, where they are told they have to go do it in person, and then there's no office, there's no person. So
and I've seen some services that will ask you that question, why are you canceling, and give you a handful of options. I have no problem with that, as long as it's okay, thank you, and not okay, let's send you into this other rabbit trail of 8 other screens that's going to force you to do whatever. Because I get that it's beneficial for a company to know that you canceled it because the app was horrible or something like that. So again, 6 months is when it's supposed to take effect, and this, you probably saw this come out this week. So hopefully sometime, let's see here, April, May, we should see it take effect.
Probably, maybe even March, I guess, but probably April. So that's something to watch out for, and see how streaming services react to that. Our next piece of news, probably something you also saw. So Monday Night Football last year, because of the writers' strike, Disney simulcast most, if not all, of Monday Night Football games on ABC to full content. And when the season started this year, I believe they were simulcasting, I don't know, it was like 4 to 6 games. It by far was not the entire season. Well, Disney came out this week and announced that they are going to simulcast an additional 6 Monday Night Football games during this season, expanding its NFL coverage alongside ESPN. So on one hand, this is really good for the football fan that doesn't want to have an expensive streaming service, that has access to an antenna or something like that, they can watch the game on ABC. And it was a joint decision between the NFL and Disney. So the other added games, I'll just read them off here. Baltimore at Tampa Bay on October 21st. So this upcoming Monday. Tampa Bay at Kansas City on November 4th. Houston at Dallas on November 18th. Baltimore at the Chargers on November 25th. And New Orleans at Green Bay on December 23rd. So again, 6 games. So there's only 2 Mondays right now that the rest of the regular season, that the Monday night game is not going to be on simulcast on ABC. And that's November 11th and December 2nd. And Disney is claiming that this move is still in response to the Hollywood strikes that affected their fall schedule. And Nicole will actually briefly touch on that here in a minute, as live sports content fills gaps by delayed scripted programming. So this brings ABC's total to 15 Monday Night Football simulcasts for the 24 season, and last year they had 18, and it gives them, ABC, more live sports content during prime time, boosting its NFL coverage. But not everyone is happy with this. NBC, Universal in particular, is not very happy with this move because they're arguing that it's going to dilute its advertising revenue demand for other revenue broadcasts, in particular their Sunday night football game. And so they fear that a more widely available Monday night football game may reduce the premium advertisers who are willing to pay for its game, which is its most watched primetime program. And
but it also creates more demand for the NFL. And that's where the NFL benefits from this. And for Disney, this move provides a dual benefit. It fills their primetime programming gap and increased reach of Monday Night Football beyond ESPN. And it strengthens Disney's position in the NFL rights ecosystem. So Disney by no means is doing this to be altruistic. They're doing this to make more money, put themselves in better standing with the NFL, which is going to come into play once they launch their direct-to-consumer streaming platform, possibly a venue ever makes it off the ground. So they are definitely not doing this in an altruistic manner. Now, we do benefit from it, but it's not an altruistic situation at all whatsoever. So,
Yeah.
So you have anything to add to that, Nicole?
No, I mean, I think you covered it really well. The only other thing that comes to mind for me is just this dance we're seeing between pulling things that people really want to watch off of cable and putting them onto streaming, or in this case, on a broadcast network that is free. But I think they know people are going to watch Monday Night Football. So it's a little interesting from that standpoint of they're willing to cannibalize their cable audience to put it out on the broadcast network. So maybe just another indication we know people are still continuing to cut the cord. Yeah,
and great point in the comments that Bally Sports is going to become FanDuel Sports Network as of next week, and that's part of the whole trying to emerge from bankruptcy situation for Diamond. So our next topic, as I mentioned at the top about deals, I'm going to discuss that now. So we're seeing some pretty significant temporary price reductions. And yes, what is Bally is trying to stay alive. We're seeing some pretty significant price reductions for premium live TV services.
Sorry, I have a question first, just on that comment. Who's going to confuse their viewers more first? Is it going to be ESPN with ESPN Bet, or now FanDuel Sports?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Fair point. So this is on premium services, and one could argue that it's a possible price war that we're seeing. But as we all know, price hikes have become an ever-increasing frustration for us as cord cutters. We just saw yesterday Hulu Live's price hike took effect, going up $6 on its base plan to $82.99 a month. If you go to, now that does include the Disney bundle, but if you go towards the no ads version, you're looking at almost $100. DirecTV Stream's price hike also took effect on the 6th, so about a week and a half ago, going up by $7 on its base plan to $87 a month, and its premium plan is now $170 a month. That's cable, if not worse. It's understandable that prices go up over time. I think we can all agree to that, but so often these price hikes offer no added value for the increase. It's just a forced increase, only increasing our frustration as consumers. And the main goal is obviously for profitability, and more are doing that, with Disney being the most recent one hitting profitability in the second quarter of this year. And Yahoo Finance put out an article earlier this week relative to that, in relation to Disney's price hikes that were almost entirely across the board. I think there was only one or two bundle options that did not see a price hike. But one might think that this would lead to increased churn on our part on canceling and leaving services. But according to Disney CEO Bob Iger, it's not as much as what you would expect. And in the Yahoo Finance article, he was quoted as saying, "Every time we've taken a price increase, we've only had modest churn from that." And then goes on to say, nothing that we would consider significant. He added the goal for streaming is to, quote, grow engagement on the platform, unquote. Hence the new features and bundling opportunities and that was said at the company's fiscal third quarter earnings call in August. But Wall Street analysts aren't optimistic, and I'm not. I join them in that. I don't have the same optimism as Iger does. Bank of America analyst Jessica Ehrlich recently told Yahoo Finance, quote, "The prices for subscriptions without advertising are starting to go through the roof. As a result, our view is that consumers will drop several streamers and maybe rotate a little bit more depending on the content cycle," unquote. This is all in concert with things like password sharing crackdowns, and understandably making streamers frustrated. So what we're seeing now recently over the last few weeks, and even this week, we saw our recent price reductions, a sign that services are seeing the frustration and want to entice more people to subscribe. And it's important to remember that the NFL is the most watched programming on TV. We're nearing late October, so in a couple months, the NFL season is going to be over. And everyone that watches the streaming space knows that subscription, that numbers go down after the NFL season. So maybe they're trying to get while getting is good, trying to get as many as they can. I don't know. But so every major live streaming service has announced a deal this week or has had one ongoing for the past couple weeks. And I'm just going to say them here. So YouTube TV is currently offering a $47 month for the first 2 months. So a savings total of $46. Key to remember for this is that's for new subscribers only. DirecTV Stream has had an offer for the last few weeks and it's still ongoing. It's $15 off for the first 2 months of entertainment, so a $30 total savings, and $20 off for the first 3 months for its higher tier plans, so a total of $60 in savings. Now, looking at the terms and conditions, returning customers who disconnected service within the last 12 months are not eligible. And they say that the offer may be changed or discontinued at any time. So we don't know when that one's going to end. We don't know when the YouTube TV one that's more recent is going to end. Fubo has been offering a $20 off a month for the first month on all plans, and no details have been given on when that's going to end. And the most recent deal, I believe it was announced yesterday or Wednesday evening, was that Hulu Live is now offering a deal through November 19th that gets you the service for $59.99 for the first 3 months. So a savings of, what is that, $23 for the first 3 months, so almost $70, $69. And the key with this one is that this one is good for new and returning customers. Now, if you're interested in Hulu Live and you've had it in the past, maybe, and you run into an issue, maybe try a different email, something like that might get it for you. Now, this is not included in the Hulu Live deal. There are no deals for Hulu right now. With Black Friday a little bit over a month away, I would anticipate that traditional deal that they offer to return on Black Friday. So these are good rollbacks or price reductions, but they're only temporary. And all of them are clear that once that whatever introductory period is over, that promo period is over, you're going back up to the standard price. So maybe, that's definitely something to watch out for. Now, if you're an NFL fan or a college football fan and you want something to carry you through for much of the rest of the season, Hulu Live would probably be the best offer there because it's for 3 months. But then again, it's with their platform, which we're not the biggest fans of. But
yeah, and I don't know if you saw the question in the chat there. I do think we have a long wait on Venue, so I wouldn't be canceling something that you have a good deal on in hopes that you'll get it on Venue. I don't think anything's moving anytime soon with them. No, and I don't see that happening anytime soon unless somehow they are able to convince the judge to move up the date, which everything I have
read, this circuit, this particular court is not inclined to do that.
They're not. And, I was thinking with the deals right now, it's also, we're in the final quarter of the year. So companies are, these media companies are looking to get their subscriber numbers up before the year end. So that also may be influencing the timing. So let's take a look at our next topic. Let's just talk about Netflix for a couple of minutes. It's been a while since they raised their rates, though we would argue that they did by getting rid of their lowest ad-free plan. They just get away without calling it a price increase. But it ended up being, for example, for us, because we don't want ads, so now we're at the standard no ads plan, which was about a 50% price increase for us. No.
Well, yeah.
So it went up to $15.49. Anyway, just thought we'd talk a little bit about what's going on with them and when do we think they might be raising their prices. So Netflix reported its third quarter earnings yesterday, and it beat its estimates. Revenue was up over $9 billion, almost $10 billion in quarter three. And it was an increase of 15% over last year, same period. They added over 5 million subscriptions in the third quarter. Netflix did, so that beat their estimates of 4.5 million. All of this made their stock jump up, which makes Wall Street happy, makes Netflix happy. Analysts, though, are expecting that Netflix will raise prices again. The last time they raised their rates was in October of 2022. They raised at that time its premium tier to about $23. And then Citi analyst Jason Bazinet now says he's predicting another 12% price increase by 2025 because of its low cost per viewed hour. So Netflix did not announce a price increase yesterday, but many believe that one is coming. So, and I would tend to agree with that, seeing as it's been 2 years. 12%, you'd be looking at, probably just over $1 or $2 on most plans. So that's probably something many people will stomach without canceling their subscription. Just some other Netflix news. They are, as we know, and we referenced, they phased out their lowest price ad-free plan. So if you want to watch Netflix without ads, you're going to pay $15.50 a month for it. And that is really just driving people to ad-supported Netflix, because Netflix is going to make more money when they're able to run ads. Its ad-supported plan is $7 a month. That remains one of the cheapest in the industry. And Netflix has seen a significant rise in upfront ad sales commitments. They're up 150% there. That tells you that advertisers want to put their money there. That tells me, as someone in advertising, more ads are coming to Netflix. And they've been pretty good with it. I hope it stays that way. I just don't have a lot of confidence in that. I think the experience will come down to how relevant can they make those ads, and can they put them in places in their shows that don't feel really, really disruptive.
Well, especially the older shows that
were made without ad breaks in them. That's going to really be tough. And so it's something we have to watch. We had been talking about content in Netflix that, we've discussed before, lots of reality content and stuff. And with the strikes, we did learn that as of April, right, of next year.
Well, they said early next year.
Early next year. So I'm just thinking by April, but first quarter, they say they're going to be all done with having slowdowns in content from the strike. So hopefully that means more content, more good content coming to Netflix next year.
And less reality content.
Less reality content.
But I don't see that.
And though more live sports, that's the last thing I wanted to say about Netflix. We know they're having the NFL games on Christmas. They are going to have WWE Raw for fans of that started in January, and then they're doing Squid Game 2. And so anyway, I think they're going to continue to look for ways they can bring big events that people want to watch to their platform.
Yeah, for sure. And other news, and you may have seen this earlier this week, Peacock announced that they are going to start streaming local sports early next year through their RSNs that they own. Now, they've been talking about this. There's been speculation on this for some time as to whether or not they were going to do it. They're already fairly good for sports. Got NFL games, Premier League soccer, WWE events, and adding local sports will further diversify its offerings and attract a broader range of viewers and arguably advertisers. They plan to launch their regional sports channels on Peacock as soon as early next year. Now it's 4 NBC sports networks that they have. It's Boston, Philadelphia, and Northern California. And this will include games for teams like the Phillies, the Golden State Warriors, and the Celtics. And so the games will continue to be on television as well. It's not, at least what's been reported, it's not going to be removed. Just another outlet in order to see them. And it will give them a competitive edge against other platforms like Max and Paramount Plus that don't have this option, that focus on more national sports coverage. And the one thing that did not get mentioned is whether or not that this is going to be included in their current subscription tiers, or if they're going to require an additional charge to get them. And they say that further details on pricing and availability are expected to be revealed closer to launch. I'd love for it to see it to be just added on, but I'm not inclined to think that that's what's going to be the case. My hope is that they make this as an option for subscribers in these 4 markets, that if they want to add it on, they can. If not, they don't have to. I just hope that it doesn't turn into a situation where they're going to force it upon all subscribers. And these are fairly, big populated areas, so it could impact a lot of people. So hopefully they go the choice route, like what Max is supposedly going to be doing in the near future with their Bleacher Report sports add-on. But time will tell.
Yeah, and sorry, just what would be curious, I think it would be important if Peacock wants to continue to be a player in streaming sports. They need to do that. They need to be able to allow that just the people who want this to subscribe for it and not force it on everyone, because Jimmy Pitaro with ESPN has said that within the standalone ESPN app, they are going to allow people to subscribe and see their local sports. So they're going to try and target it on that kind of, really small, more individual level. So I think Peacock needs to do that too. And Rick, go Hoosiers. Sorry, yes, we're also Indiana fans because they're playing Nebraska this weekend, and as good K-Staters, we root against Nebraska. So
yeah, and Rick brings up a good point that once the Peacock deal is up with the WWE, it'll probably head to Netflix. That would not surprise me at all. And love your comment there, Just Moody. Since Jerry fired you from your radio job as a beleaguered Cowboys fan.
Been a tough week for the Cowboys in the broadcasting world, and it's justifiably so.
It's going to continue to be. So anyway, I'm going to cover our last topic.
Sure, yeah, just super quickly, and this isn't brand new. You guys probably already know about this, but just in case someone doesn't, DirecTV has bought Dish.
And we mentioned this in the last live stream because it was breaking that they were in discussions again.
So it's done under the deal. DirecTV is paying Dish's owner, which is EchoStar, $1 for Dish in exchange for assuming its $1 billion of debt.
Billions.
Billions is what I was trying to say. Billions of dollars of debt. Private equity from TPG is going to acquire AT&T's remaining 70% stake in DirecTV. I wonder if DirecTV's customer service will improve with AT&T out of it. I guess we'll have to see.
Awfully optimistic.
The deal does still hinge on Dish bondholders agreeing on net debt lower than $1.56 billion. So there's still a chance this might go through, but
and regulatory.
But the thought there seems to be that there's with the rise of streaming now, there's less of a concern over the 2 big satellite companies merging. but we will watch it, and just bringing it up to say, how can this benefit DirecTV going forward, and what's going to happen to Sling, because Sling is a good streaming service, something that we like recommending, we like using, because it's really the only middle ground option between a cable replacement, full cable replacement, and something like a Max or that Paramount Plus. It is not going to be a full kind of solution there, so that we're going to keep watching it there. It does strengthen both. This is probably the best way for them to survive, quite honestly. Maybe DirecTV can negotiate better carriage deals now as a result. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. And then it eliminates its only rival, though, in some rural areas. Yeah, and I think that's going to be bad for people, could potentially be bad for people living in those spots. So I don't like that. But well, and job cuts, I don't like that either, but probably going to be some as they reduce overlap in positions that were similar in the two companies. So if you work for either one of them, or someone who does, our thoughts are with them, and be good to hear what they think. But
and really I think it's the Sling component, and what does this do for the bigger company? Will they be able to negotiate better deals? And and like you said, I really hope Sling doesn't go away. Mm-hmm. But it would not surprise me to see them do something with that. But also at the same time, with the DirecTV Disney agreement that they had, and DirecTV supposedly getting access to niche specific options. Sling does that a little bit with their different add-ons that they have for you to customize what you get. Maybe there's something there.
And mentioning Yellowstone there in the comments, we actually have a video coming out in the next couple of weeks on that, or next week I think, about the best way to watch Yellowstone as we get ready for that season 5 finale.
Was it Philo?
Philo has Paramount Network as well, so that is $28 a month.
Sling with what is it? The entertainment, I think.
Sling with the entertainment add-on. I think Philo might be a little bit less, but you're right. It's Sling is still a good option for sure. But Paramount Plus won't get you Yellowstone, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's on all the old episodes are on Peacock, which when Nicole was out of town, I rewatched the last or the first part of season 5, but they don't drop the next day.
They don't. Amazon is a good option. Yeah. But watch our video. We talk about it more, but you can buy the season on Amazon, and you'll get the new ones within 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all that we have for this week. Hopefully y'all are enjoying some fall weather. We're in the 80s here in Omaha. We will be back next week.
Go Cats.
Yep, go Cats. We face the Mountaineers.
Anyway, everyone have a great time. We'll see you next week.
Yep.